Hello, hello. Ce midi, guys, we're going to be in English. So hashtag live, hashtag replay. You can also ask your question. We have special guest. It's Vendredi Superstar Friday. So Cameron, I'm really, really happy you made it. I know you were a little busy. You have a coaching at 2 a.m. You just came back from an event. I grab you. I put you in front of the microphone for like 15 minutes. So thank you to be here today with us.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate being here. Look forward to sharing today.
So first of all, the show is called Be the Best Show. I want to introduce every lunchtime a special guest, somebody who is for me an inspiration, who is becoming a best human every day. I saw you on stage. You are honestly, don't say to the other speaker, you are one of the best at CAPS in Quebec. I see the piano behind you. You do like kind of different keynote speaking. So before we jump what you do, I want you to let you introduce yourself, what you do, where you're from, and then we're going to talk about how you become the best in what you do.
Love it. Yeah, so grew up in Outback Australia, a long way from anywhere that most people have heard of, and family's still back there, which I love being able to get back there. But I live in the US now, based in Austin currently, and absolutely love delivering keynotes with live music on stage. I love being in an industry where I can blend the two things that I love the most, helping people transform and creating music, and blend it into a pretty powerful experience. So love doing that around the world, and yeah, very fortunate to be out doing what I do.
And during your journey to become what you are right now, you need to experience failure. You need to experience the hard part of being an entrepreneur. Getting on stage is not like the cell ring and Cameron, just jump on the stage. Here's your big check. You need to work now and now. Okay, you're at one point of your career that everything's going well. But through your journey, what was the key element that helped you to getting the man you are right now?
You know, there's been multiple moments we could spend probably days of all the things of overcoming, because we all go through it, right? We all go through the challenges to overcome. But there was one moment in 2017. I was in Argentina at the time, Buenos Aires, and I just moved there. I was recording a soundtrack for a film that I just recorded in Colombia, in the natural beauty of that country. And I came there and I was on the first week, and it was this question of, if this all ended today, it just popped into my head out of nowhere. If this all ended today, what haven't I done that I wish I had? And for me, there was an immediate answer. And it was having a grand piano on stage while delivering a talk. And I had been booked for one. I'd finally gotten there. I'd been trying to get it going for a number of years. Finally got booked for one in 2015. Got cancelled within 2 days of the event. Like, the whole event got cancelled. And I was crushed as a dude just trying to make it happen, right? Then it was like the switch flicked over. It's like, dude, if you really want this, go and make it happen. And I just reached out to anyone who'd listen, and happened to stumble across someone who said, yeah, we'd love to have you. 700 people at the event, and beautiful experience. And out of that, and I continue to say this to myself, after it finished, it was, all right, if that's possible, I wonder what else is. And it's such a beautiful, powerful insight to have that I continue to utilize, and highly recommend anyone tuning in, does it as well.
I love you said, because Iron Man, the mantra is anything is possible. And I love it the way you just saying that you make it possible. If it was your last day, what can you do? And I see where you are right now. So that was one point. I saw you did a pretty nice video with the piano, was freezing. You just told us on stage. How was this experience to do something kind of impossible, bring a piano on top of the hill and all that big experience? I want you to talk about this part of your life.
Oh yeah, it was a big talk of mine, and for that, it was to showcase how this blend between human curiosity and technology can magnify the impact we make in the world. And I wanted to showcase how it was done rather than just talk about it, which is a big part of who I am and how I go about things on stage. I want to be a living, breathing example of what I speak and coach on. And so with this one, got people from 40 different countries around the world involved in this music video, and more than 80 people, and they were all strangers, right? It was all the relationships were built through technology to showcase, right? If we can do this, I wonder what you could do, right? And for my part in the video, I thought I was just going to record. I was in Mexico City at the time, and I was on the 21st floor of this apartment, and I had a grand piano in the place that I was renting. But I would just record in there, And then everybody started sending through their videos, and they were out everywhere, right? They were in front of castles and mountains and rivers and ruins and all these crazy locations. I thought, I'm not going to be able to record and not look weird, if I just have myself inside and everyone else is outside, right? So I thought, you know what? There's no way I can get a grand piano. I'm just gonna I'll just do that another time. I'll be performing the song live on stage anyway, so that'll make it feel like we're together. And then the next morning, I was laying there in bed. I thought, I wonder what if I could do it in this video? I just noticed that question, what if? The curiosity spurred it. And within 24 hours, I had the piano, I had the moving company, I had the everything except for the location. And then a week later, had the location all sorted, was in Colorado, recorded there, like you said, freezing cold. It was Garden of the Gods at sunrise. Stunningly beautiful location, pulled it all together, pulled it off somehow. Again, it did. It felt like it was impossible. But afterwards, realizing how easily that came to fruition, the massive insight for me was the biggest thing getting in my way is myself. Always is, always will be. And the more I can take responsibility for that and say, this is my responsibility, nobody else's, my responsibility to change, it puts me in the driver's seat, because at the end of the day, the person who takes responsibility is the one that gets to create the change around a situation. And the one that blames is the one that stays with the pain around a situation. And I know which one I'd rather,
Yeah, I'm just going to take some super nice pinpoint. You just mentioned that it was your responsibility to make it happen, and it was your responsibility to make sure that the universe, whatever, put everything easier because you're on your right path through this fantastic accomplishment. I want you to ask you which other accomplishment you're proud you've done since this big event.
Yeah, I mean, the speaking engagements are definitely each one that I'm doing and each one that I do is a massive achievement in my own. I'm a dude from outback Australia, right? Any of these are almost like we're not in Kansas moments anymore, right? But one I'm super proud of. I became a National Geographic Explorer, so something separate to speaking. And I was down in Colombia in June last year, and we were filming there, and that film is almost finished off now, and with the goal of protecting a specific area of Colombia and permanently protecting that. And so that's utilizing the power of storytelling. I'm a massive believer in the power of story, and I utilize that. It's a huge part of my talks, and being able to experience that in a way that I wouldn't normally be doing that was a really beautiful experience to witness how you can tell a great story in a different format. And so I'd say that one most recently, because the editing's literally just been finished off. And so, yeah, that's a pretty big one for sure.
You just mentioned a keyword I really love about storytelling. Everybody have their own story. For somebody who's listening right now and want to get some tip how to become a better storyteller, what few advice you can give them?
The first thing, take out the notes section of your phone and start writing down all of the times that you've had something that's happened in your life where you learned something, and just make the title of it. Don't go into the story yet. Just make the title of it. Get into the habit of that. What you want to do is you want to create your own storybook. You want to also understand, okay, based on these stories, which were some of the biggest insights? And in what cases might I want to tell this story? Because for me, there's coaching, there's speaking, there's, in general conversation, there's interactions, there's closing conversations. There's so many different places to be able to tell stories. Determining where is it that you want to tell your stories or your story in general. And then what you're aiming to do with that story is understand what neurochemicals do you want to release in somebody's brain when you tell it, because there's different ways. You might want to connect somebody together from an oxytocin standpoint, right? So you might tell a story that has them care, that has them draw closer to you. For me, there's often some stories around family that can connect. If you want to make them laugh, then you've got to be thinking about, all right, how am I going to set something up and then create a diversion across to create some kind of punchline, right? So there's different reasons for telling different stories, but the first thing I'd say first and foremost is get that storybook started, because, and I was just literally just talking with someone at an event this morning that I was going to, is that if you die, now, all your stories are gone with you, or at least the stories that haven't been documented. And for a lot of people, me included a few years ago, it was, man, if I'm gone, everything that I've learned, all the wisdom that I've gained over the last, 3+ nearly 4 decades, gone, finished. And that would be to me, it was just like, that would be such a shame that I didn't get to pass on that knowledge, that wisdom. So that's what I'd say first up, get started with that, and then read some books, get some understanding, get some clarity about building out your own storytelling structure. I have my own structure of, those key points, and make sure that you're taking them on a journey, right? You get those details, you have the lesson, but structure it in a way that takes them on that journey, that has them there with you. And ideally, you're painting the picture that allows them to create the story with you.
I love it. I want to take some notes. I'm for sure going to listen this interview. I saw you getting on stage. You did some massive one. The one I met you in Quebec City was in front of all CAPS, Canada CAPS, the Professional Association of Public Speaker. So you're in front of all the best speaker, whatever in Canada or part of this organization, and you're stunning. What's your strategy? How do you get prepared to? Of course, you get a piano, you sing that I don't do, and you're fantastic on that part. Right? What's your kind of strategy to just stand out the crowd and just be as good as you want to be in your brain and when it's showtime on stage?
Great question. There's a number of different things. First up, what's the outcome of the overall conference? What's the theme of the conference? I'm looking at first and foremost. Then I'm thinking about, okay, how could I customize something? Yes, I've got my standard keynote and what I'll generally deliver, but I'm always looking for how can I make it unique in a way that's unique and valuable for that specific audience. And so one thing that I did, as you got to experience, I don't speak French, but I learned a couple of lines in French and sang them on stage, right? During the song, I custom wrote a song for that conference, specifically for that. There was wording in there about the convention. And so it was thinking about that. The reason for the 2 lines of French, I knew that there were some people in the audience, at least, that was what was shared with me. And there were some people in the audience that were getting it translated into French, my talk, and everybody else's. And so for me, I want to make sure that people feel included. Everybody feels included. Everybody feels like they're going on a journey with me. And so for that was an example of that customization, right? The other thing is make sure that you know your stuff. If you know your stuff, it creates space around being able to play. If you know that you can handle any situation, like an example of that talk, I started playing the guitar and it wasn't plugged in. And I said, oh, I better plug it in, right? And it was funny about that, rather than me thinking, oh man, I've screwed this all up. It's like, nah, I'm good. I can handle it. I think that's the key thing there is really drive. And this comes from time, it comes from experience, but it also comes from really knowing your stuff. And I know that, if the guitar's not plugged in, I'm good. Just plug it in and I can continue on, right? And that, again, that comes from preparation and knowing, I'd say as well, because you know your stuff so well, you know that if something goes a little pear-shaped, if it goes a little odd, then you know that you can turn it around or go in another direction if you need to. So there's some of the key pieces I mentioned there for sure.
Honestly, it was really nice because the way you sing and you just stop and then you include those 2. I don't remember what it was, the 2 sentences in French, but I do remember your presence. I remember the way you make us feel when you do your presentation, and that's why I love to be on stage. It's fun to have some experience guy like you to share their knowledge. And one of the questions I love to ask my guests is, if you see yourself 5 years ago, is any advice you will tell you if you cross you in the street and say, hey, Cameron, you should do this?
I'd say the 3 major, very quickly. Boom. 1, having a great sense of purpose. Have the purpose that's bigger than the problems that you're experiencing. Number 2 is be very, very intentional about where you're dedicating your time towards. Get clear on what you could do, then determine what you are going to do and get rid of the rest. It's a distraction. Number 3 is then stay disciplined, stay committed, stay focused, stay persistent. Like that piece, and continue, because there's going to be challenges that come up. But if you have those pieces in place, there's some other components as well, but that alone, yeah, I would have not had to go through certain things as a result of that. So hopefully that helps those tuning in as well.
And if I see you 1 year from now, where are you gonna be in 1 year from now?
Yeah, continue. I mean, I plan on still being in Austin, living wise, and continuing to be, especially in North America, continue to drive bigger events. Live music on stage is the major component of the talks. Continuing to drive that, playing with, having maybe a band on stage, for example, or other unique experiences that I drive there. There's a couple that I can't say right now, but there's some that are coming that are going to be out of this world. And so, yes, little, but yeah, that just continuing to drive those keynotes, speaking with bigger audiences, with more unique audiences, unique experiences, and really partnering with organizations that get it, that want that transformation for their teams. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited for that.
I just want to say a big thank you. I know I was really happy to have you on the show for lunchtime. You're one of my top speaker in Quebec City from the CAP convention. How can we help you to reach your goal faster?
I appreciate that, man. I mean, those of you tuning in, at Cameron Atlas is the social handle, and CameronAtlas.com. Feel free to reach out if there's an event that you have coming up or that you know of. Anything like that, anyone in the events industry, I love building relationships with. I believe we're in the best industry in the world, and so that's completely biased, but it's a remarkable industry to be a part of. So event planners, people like that, bureaus and things. So love connecting with different people and different folks.
Guys, if you know or don't know Cameron Atlas, please add him. He's approved by the coach, of course. Stay with me. We may have a big event in July, so maybe I can say more. I will tell you after that. So first of all, thanks a lot for your time. Thank you to be here. You're really a great guy, great human, and I love the way you perform and the way you speak. So thank you, brother.
Oh man, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. It's been great coming on today. Great meeting you back in Quebec City, and looking forward to staying in touch. Thanks, man.
And by the way, I still have your business card in my car. So every time I get in my car, I have your face on my car. That's why
there it is. There it is. I love it. I love it.
Love it. Stay with me. Thank you, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See you guys.